mentioned my Detroit Tigers being
Detroit.
being pretty active on the free agent market so far. I'm a little bit surprised. They signed Kenta Maeda to a 2-year, $24 million contract right out from their division rival Twins. I've liked Maeda for a while. He's about a 4 ERA pitcher for his career. He's been hurt a lot. He's approaching 35 years old. 2-year deal. I'm not too worried about it. Hopefully they can get something out of him. Just adds to the pitching depth. You can never have too much rotation depth. I don't mind the signing. It's a short-term deal, not a ton of money. Doesn't stop him from doing other things, including signing Jack Flaherty, which I didn't see that coming at all. He's was on my radar for the last 5 years almost. I picked him as my ace in my fantasy league about 4 years ago and was very disappointed because I think that was coming off of his sole very good year back in 2019 where he had a sub 3 ERA,
Yep.
231 strikeouts, low 1 whip. That's really the only time he's ever put it all together in one season is 2019. He struggled with shoulder injuries, oblique issues. Shoulder injuries really scare me. But elbows used to be scary. Pretty much Tommy John has taken care of that.
Right.
Shoulders are still a hazy mystery to medical science. There's just so much going on in there that you can never really count on being able to figure out how to solve a shoulder issue. So I don't expect a whole lot out of him. Neither do the Tigers, apparently. They only signed him to a 1-year deal. I think it's $14 million. Like we always say, there are no bad 1-year deals. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, it just costs you some money. And like we said, every major league owner has money to spare. So
cost you some cash.
Yeah, that shouldn't cost much. So I think there's huge upside with that if he is healthy and can get it back together. The potential is there. It's just if you can actually get it out of him. Fortunately, They're not just solely relying on him. Like I said, they've got their rotation is about 6 or 7 deep right now, if you include all the young guys from last year. Plus, Casey Mize coming back from Tommy John surgery this season. So I like those moves. Other moves were to the bullpen. The return of Andrew Chafin, Rod Beck Jr., shooter number 2. He's coming back to the Tigers after a year hiatus. I love that. And then the Tigers just signed Shelby Miller to what is this? It's I forget how many year deal. I think it's only a 2-year deal. He was with the Dodgers last year, had a sub 2 ERA in over 42 innings, sub 1 whip, and yet he doesn't re-sign with the Dodgers. I'm not sure. The only thing I can think of is they just can't afford him. I mean,
yeah, I know it is weird.
So, or maybe they know more. Maybe there's an injury issue we don't know about. But I just thought that was strange. Like he was already at a good spot. The Dodgers, you'd think, would be wanting bullpen depth with everything else they've added. So, hey, it's the Tigers' advantage. Shelby Miller was a big starting prospect back in the day, but he's moved to the bullpen and has found its place there. So I like the Tigers' rotation depth and now their bullpen depth as well. So I also like that they got Maeda from the Twins, who the Twins also lost Sonny Gray to the Cardinals in free agency. So their rotation has been gutted. It sounds like the Twins are one of those teams that might be severely adversely affected by the Valley Sports bankruptcy proceedings, as they're going to lose their TV money this year. And it sounds like they are cutting salary dramatically. So that's going to be something interesting to watch. The Guardians are another team that's been affected by that. They're losing their TV deal. I haven't read that they're cutting salary as drastically as the Twins appear to be. So we'll see how that plays out. But maybe that's the part of the thinking of the Tigers, kind of going for it with, middle-aged guys. These guys they're signing are in their 30s to go around a very young nucleus that's already there. They're really going for it this year, it seems like, considering the White Sox have taken their step back. Apparently, they're trying to recreate the Kansas City Royals again.
What?
speaking of the Royals, they're the other team in the division who might see an opportunity as they've spent $105 million in free agency already. But last year I kept beating the beating the concept into the ground of don't confuse activity with accomplishment with the Cubs specifically. But in this case, I think the Royals might be doing that because I mean they spent $105 million, but it's very not much in return. The names they got so far, so I'm not necessarily worried about the Royals. There's another factor involved there. They're asking taxpayers to build them a brand new stadium in the next years. I believe a vote for that comes up in 2024. So
Oh,
probably
really?
asking for $1 billion from local taxpayers. So they figured they could spend $100 million to kind of pretend that they're in it to win it this year. So
We're going all in for a new stadium.
you were just at Kauffman Stadium last year or 2 years ago. I feel
Last
like
year, last summer.
was it last summer? I've never been there. What did you think of the stadium?
I mean, it was fine.
Is it run down? Were they in need of a new ballpark?
No, not at all. I don't think so.
I know they
We've
just
had
did maybe 10 years ago, they did a major renovation where they went nuts with the waterfalls and everything out in the outfield. It looks
Yeah,
cool from TV, but
I mean, the concourse was a little narrow, but outside of that, I mean, I don't know. I was I think I told you, I think I said this on the podcast, like they're surprised at how expensive everything was there.
really?
I was like going in there thinking I'm gonna eat like a king, drink like a king. I'm out of Chicago. Nope. No, like
Oh,
beers were like freaking $18.
that's worse than Wrigley. What the fuck are they doing?
I know. That's what I said. You need a
Wow.
new stadium, you need new pricing. Jesus. But anyway,
Well,
yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. The outfield seats were a decent view. They had put in all this like out in the outfield concourse. There's like this whole like a kid zone thing like the White Sox have. They also have a great Hall of Fame
mm,
there with a ton of baseball memorabilia, like of games that took place at Kauffman Stadium and teams that have played there. And there's like some White Sox stuff in there too. It was really cool. And I thought to myself as I'm walking through this Hall of Fame in Kansas City, I'm like, we have we have two teams with uh you know have had some pretty decent players on their teams and have a lot of history in Chicago, and neither one have anything like this inside the stadium. And it's just actually was like unfathomable to me because of how cool it was. So
yeah.
I don't see any reason why they need a new stadium other than whatever monies it's going to generate.
Potentially, they would be able to build more suites and get corporate income that
Right,
way.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
most of that. So, again, that's why I think they're kind of throwing some cash around right now just to make the fan base feel better about giving them $1 billion to build a new fucking stadium when they don't even need it. But
Right. Yeah, because I definitely don't think they need it, but that's just my humble opinion.
well, the Tigers weren't done there. They went ahead and extended manager AJ Hinch, terms undisclosed. There was actually some mystery a couple years ago, like how if he had an opt out from his deal or his original deal or whatever. So they don't typically disclose terms for managers, I guess. But I was happy to hear that. I'm more than happy with my manager. I feel
You
like
are. You love that guy.
I feel like he's a top five manager. I feel like both of my teams now have top five managers.
Word Hole Media.